Hello, everyone. So excited to have you back. Today, we'll talk about how mental and emotional health care are really basic neuroscience. Sometimes it seems that there's so much woo woo stuff around it, but there's not at all. Like, it's super basic neuroscience. So, let me walk you through three things with regards to that. First one, when you wake up in the morning, if you're not ripped out of your sleep by an alarm clock, but if you wake up naturally, that is caused by cortisol in your body. So the inner clock that you naturally have is regulated by hormones, and cortisol is the one that makes you wake up. Now you may remember, oh, cortisol, that's a stress hormone, right? Yes, it is. So what happens if a stress hormone in our body wakes us up? Our ever-present mind tries to figure out what's wrong, because we are experiencing stress in our body. That means something's got to be wrong, right? And so our mind will revert back to whatever was wrong the day before, whatever caused us pain, whatever made us wonder, whatever, oh boy, whatever we were circling around, ruminating over. And so once we understand that what wakes us up naturally is a stress response in our body, and that our biological default is to look for what's wrong, then we know that, oh, it's not our fault. It's not that we're having a bad day. It's that we're hardwired for doing this. That doesn't mean we have to stay in that state. We get to choose. We get to choose what we want to focus on. That's the beauty. So that means having it as part of your morning routine, to choose your intention for the day, to focus on the positive thing that you wish to create, to embody your state of being that you wish to embody, to find something that you're looking forward to. That's what you want to do first. Not follow the stress response and try to understand what is wrong and what fire needs to be put out first. No. What is your intention for the day? What are you wishing to create? Good. That is point one. Get yourself into a good state. Point number two. When you have figured out this important thing that you're going to do, and this is at some point later during the day, you may sometimes notice as you actually sit down to do the thing, resistance comes up. Oh boy. Let's imagine you're trying to sit down and write something. Maybe it's an essay, maybe it's a book, maybe it's just a dreaded email, like whatever it is, you know that this has got to happen and that this is important to you. So what to do with that resistance? Resistance is an amount of energy that has not found the right direction yet. So think of resistance as your body ramping up because something in you noticed, oh, this is important, therefore this resistance buildup comes through. So we just need to find that first little step. What's the first little step, the first next step to get this rolling? Writing down the first sentence or whatever it is. Just put the pen on paper, put your fingers on the keyboard and start typing. Doesn't matter if you have to edit after. Just start. It's like going for a run. As soon as you actually have your feet in the sneakers and are out running, all of a sudden it's not so impossible. But ramping up until you get there, you have to build that habit. And it's the same with any task that we want to get done. So the resistance is activation energy. And by the way, it's very similar for anxiety. Fear or anxiety, when we're about to do something, is just energy. Yes, it's a message. It's a message of, oh, pay attention to this. And then I get to decide what I'll do with that energy. And then I get to invest it. So yeah. So point number 2, if you can take this away with you, resistance and anxiety are both occurrences of energy within you, and you get to decide what you do with it. Some people even say, I'm not going to do it because, or despite the fear, I'm going to do it because of the fear. Because the fact that there was fear present means, oh, this is actually worth doing because apparently there is something to it. And for the resistance, one of the things that really helps to get into it is to leave a cliffhanger. Ernest Hemingway already knew this. He would leave a sentence unfinished so that the next day he would be able to pick it up right there and knew what he was going to write. Knowing what that next small step is going to make it so much easier to pick up your important tasks again. Just leave a little cliffhanger note for yourself. And don't take my word for it. Just because it works for me doesn't mean anything. Go try it. Do a self-experiment. Point number 3, your dopamine and serotonin reward systems. When we think dopamine, then sometimes we think about how that is a reward for something. But it's actually not quite that. It is, if you want, the motivation hormone. So our dopamine system gets triggered when we have to be in an active state to do something. Whether that is to achieve a certain goal, whether that is to get to a desired food or to a desired connection, or whether that is to get a work task done, like that is some kind of dopamine activation to get you going, to get you to go after the thing. And that's good. But, if there is a but that kind of invalidates whatever was said before, that is good to the extent that we know that it is in balance with the other reward systems. Because what happens with the dopamine circle is every time we follow the desire to do something, whether it's getting on social media or having a piece of chocolate or like buying ourselves something, it is less reward every time we do it. So it's almost like we feel a stronger urge, but then we get less satisfaction for it. So how do we deal with that? We can break that cycle by not having it as a habit, by doing something every once in a while and kind of leaving it open when we get a reward and when not. So if every time I go for a run, I reward myself with dessert, the reward of that dessert is going to diminish over time. But if instead I do it every once in a while, then it will be very pleasurable. If I do that for a work task, same thing. And if I chase deadlines and reward myself for it, great. Just not every single time. Break the cycle. And the other piece about the dopamine cycle is that because of these diminishing returns, we need to balance it out with the serotonin reward cycle, which means that in the serotonin cycle, we get to be grateful for whatever is. Say you're snuggling on the couch with a nice blankie and a good movie. That's a serotonin reward. If you eat a banana and enjoy the taste of it, enjoy the sweetness and how smooth it feels in your mouth. Serotonin. If you just get to spend some time hanging with a friend without any dedicated goal or purpose. Serotonin. The feeling of belonging. The feeling of being content with what is. It's a good one. It's a really good one. If we were to hang out only in serotonin, that would turn us into a couch potato that never wanted to do anything. So that's why it's good to have dopamine and serotonin as equal players on the field. And you will know whether you are prone for one or the other and what might be good for you to balance it out. Do you need more excitement? Do you need to level it up? Do you need some challenges to get you going? Or is it better for you to create some space to actually have a bit of downtime every once in a while? Have some white space in your calendar. Have some little creative endeavors without any particular goal or objective. Just be and enjoy the sweetness of being. All right, let's wrap it up for today. So, the first one was cortisol wakes you up in the morning and looks for the stressors. So therefore, you get to choose your intention, knowing that by default, otherwise, you're going to look for what's wrong. So you get to choose what you put your attention on. What is going well, and what is it that you wish to create today? Second piece, both resistance and anxiety about things that we know are important to us and that we want to do are just a buildup of energy. So we can hear the message of this is hard or this is scary or whatever it is, and then use that energy to fuel what we are doing. And a good way to do that is by leaving cliffhangers so we know where exactly to continue and put that energy. And the third piece is find a beautiful back and forth between dopamine reward cycles and serotonin reward cycles. Know what you're more prone to and what is a good way to balance it out for you. Hope this serves you. Please leave me some comments. I would love to hear from you. And I will see you next time. Have a beautiful day. Sending you much love.